Hi, welcome back to Learn Payload with Colin. We're on our 12th video in our first 100 video series. Feels like already an eternity, but we're doing pretty good. We've gone through quite a few topics, and I think we're laying the groundwork for some really fun stuff. And so I really appreciate your patience in following me along with this on this journey. But we're really laying down some really solid foundations so that when we get into some more cool stuff, we have a full understanding of what we're doing and we're not just like guessing. So I, again, appreciate your you following me along. So on this 12th video, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to start digging into collections. But before I do that, before we really go deep on collections, I want to make one tweak to the way we manage our collections throughout this series. And from moving forward, we do not want to use auto-incrementing IDs. We want to use our own custom ID. And I don't, for a lot of reasons I can go into, I don't want to babble, but there's a lot of reasons I don't like auto-incrementing IDs, particularly with the users collection. And so with our first discussion on collections, we're going to go into custom IDs, and we're going to be using something called CUID, or it's a little more similar to what you may have heard of UUIDs, but they're basically long non-deterministic random strings rather than auto-incrementing integers. And so that's what we're going to be using from now on throughout all of our collections. We're going to be generating these CUIDs. And yeah, so let's get started. So I'm using a package called CUID2 from an organization called Parallel Drive. And they're called collision resistant IDs, optimized for horizontal scaling and performance. Next generation UUID. They return a short random string with some collision busting measures, safe to use as identifiers in JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and unique server-side record lookups. Now there's a whole discussion on why you use them, what's the difference between those and maybe UUIDs. They're security, portable, so there's all kinds of good stuff to read on those, but we're going to accept the premise for now that they are ideal for unique identifiers within our collections. We're just going to accept the premise and just keep moving forward. And we're going to use these. We're going to use this on our users collection. So heading back over to our code, we're going to check out the users collection. And this is just the default collection that you get when you first install Payload. But Payload makes it pretty easy to create custom IDs. You just add a new field called ID. Oops. Like that. And we're going to make this type text. So by default, the ID of all of your collections are going to be a number because obviously they're auto-incrementing numbers. And then we want that to be true, required true, and we want it to be unique true. And all fields within Payload allow you to pass a default value. And so that's how we're going to manage this CUID. We're just going to say default value. And we're going to return a function. And no, we don't want that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the code for running that, creating the CUID. So here's the documentation. So you can just copy this, or you can go over here. So we're going to add this, and then we're just going to do pnpm add. Okay, and then we want to import it. And it's pretty simple to just return it now. Treat ID. And honestly, I think that's it. We're going to refresh the database. And the last video, I talked about seeding the database using the command line. In Payload's website template, they have a seeder that they use that you can run through the UI, and I created a command line script to allow me to do that through the command line rather than through the admin panel. But not only just like pages and posts and things like that, but also my first user. So usually when you refresh the database or you're installing Payload for the first time, your first user is created through your first interaction with the website. So if you go to you install Payload and you go to the website, it prompts you to create your first user when you go into the admin panel. But to me, that's a little bit cumbersome. So I created a script to create my first user through the command line rather than that. But I go into that in more detail in my previous video. So go ahead and check that out. I'll link that. But for now, we're just going to run the refresh database. Migrate fresh. And what that'll do is just wipe out the entire database, resets the database to pretty much an empty database, no tables. And then what usually happens when you do that is you'll go to the website, and then Payload will recognize the fact that you don't have any tables, and it will then load or create all the necessary tables as part of your application. But I created a script to do that through the command line instead. So I have a script called dbseed, and in my seeder, I have a user seeder which creates my first user. And once it's created, because I have a default value, the ID on that user will be this random string. And so let's do that. And here we go. And seeding is complete. So now let's take a look at the database. So my seeder created my global settings called general settings. You can see here, but it also seeds my first user. And here it is, hello example. But the important thing for this video is the fact that it's no longer an auto-incrementing ID. It is a guaranteed unique string CUID value. So that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. All of our collections are going to be including this type of ID rather than an auto-incrementing ID. Just that's how we're going to move forward. And yeah, so look forward to that in an upcoming video when we start really digging into collections and making a lot of progress. So I appreciate your patience in all of this, and let me know if you get any value out of the fact that we're customizing the ID. And of course, like and subscribe and get notified for upcoming videos. All right. That's it for now. I appreciate your time. Thank you. We'll see you next time.